Welcome to the deep dive. If you're trying to figure out personal finance, wow, it's just this constant flood of information,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
Viral tips, experts telling you different things, headlines promising you'll get rich tomorrow. It's easy to get lost trying to figure out what's real and what's just noise.
Exactly. And that's really our mission today to, cut through some of that noise. We're looking at this great article, 10 Common Myths About Building Wealth Debunked.
Hmm.
And the goal is basically to swap out that viral fiction for some solid, enduring financial truths.
Because getting this right matters.
It really does. Making money decisions based on, well, myths, that can lead to serious problems. You could lose your savings, or, even if you earn a lot, you might find yourself living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, we've all heard stories like that. We really believe that knowledge is financial power.
Definitely.
So this deep dive, it's all about equipping you to make smarter calls, whether that's investing, maybe using debt the right way, or just, planning for the future.
Building that solid foundation.
Ready to dive in. Okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
Okay, first up, let's kick things off with a real classic. Get rich quick schemes work.
Ah, yes. The siren song.
It's so tempting, isn't it? We see these stories all the time. Lottery winners, tech founders selling it out for millions, like overnight. YouTubers who suddenly make it big.
Right. Culture loves that overnight success narrative.
And this myth, it really taps into that wishful thinking, maybe that availability heuristic thing you hear about, where we overestimate these really rare, flashy events because they stick in our minds.
Precisely. And that's why it's dangerous, these stories. They are the outliers, the exceptions. They are definitely not the rule.
So what is the rule then?
Well, the reality for most self-made millionaires is much less dramatic. They usually built their wealth slowly, gradually, often over decades.
Oh, yeah, Kate.
Yeah, through steady saving, sensible investing, maybe growing a business piece by piece. Think about startups, sure, if you hit it big, but most, well, they struggle or fail.
And the lottery winners.
Oh, the lottery winners. Studies show so many of them end up losing it all pretty quickly. They just don't have the financial habits to handle that sudden windfall. Real wealth, it tends to compound slowly. It doesn't just explode.
So chasing that quick win, it can really backfire.
Hugely.
People jump into super risky things, right?
Yeah.
Speculative stocks, maybe those multi-level marketing things.
Which often turn out to be pyramid schemes, yeah.
And they end up emptying their savings. Or they keep hopping from one trend to the next. Crypto this week, house flipping next month.
Totally ignoring the fundamentals, it leads to stress, sometimes financial ruin. It's classic FOMO, fear of missing out, driving bad decisions.
Okay, so what's the smarter way if quick isn't the answer?
The smarter way is, well, it's less exciting, but way more effective. Focus on slow, steady progress.
The marathon, not the sprint idea.
Exactly. Get rich, reliably, not necessarily quick. Consistent saving, disciplined investing, even small amounts.
Into things like index funds or retirement accounts.
Perfect examples. Broadly diversified, low-cost options. Your 401k and IRA. These let compounding work its magic over the long haul, plus you often get tax breaks.
It might not make headlines, but it works.
It really does. Building wealth is definitely a marathon, not some kind of mad dash.
Okay, so quick wins are a myth. What about just earning a ton of money? Myth number 2, wealth equals high income.
Another common one.
It seems logical on the surface, right? Big salaries, fancy jobs, tech execs, pro athletes. We just sort of assumed high income means you're wealthy, $250,000 salary, must be set for life.
Yeah, it's an easy assumption to make, but it's fundamentally flawed. Income is just what you earn. Wealth is what you manage to keep and grow.
Keep and grow.
There is this fascinating study, actually. It found about 1 in 4 families earning over $150,000 a year. They were living paycheck to paycheck.
Well, 1 in 4 earning that much.
Yep. Financial advisors see this all the time. They even have a name for it, Henrys.
Henrys.
High earners, not rich yet. These folks make good money, but often fall into that lifestyle creep trap.
Meaning their spending just rises with their income.
Exactly. They feel they deserve it, or they're keeping up with the Joneses. Meanwhile, you can have someone on a, pretty modest income who's diligently saving and investing.
And they end up wealthier in the long run.
Precisely. It's not about the size of the paycheck nearly as much as how you manage it.
And the danger of believing income equals wealth. It cuts both ways, doesn't it?
How so?
Well, the high earner might get complacent. I make plenty, I don't need a budget, which is a fast track to debt, actually.
True.
And the average earner might just get discouraged. I'll never make that much, so why bother saving?
Right. leading to undersaving or missing investment opportunities. Both mindsets are traps.
So what's the truth here? How should people think about it?
Focus on net worth, not just income. Net worth is your assets minus your liabilities. That's the real measure.
Okay. And practically?
If you're a high earner, the absolute key is living below your means. Just because you can buy it doesn't mean you should. Automate your savings, 401k, IRA, brokerage account. Get it out before you can spend it.
And for folks with more typical incomes?
Same principles, really. Budget smartly. Avoid unnecessary debt, especially high-interest consumer debt. And invest regularly, even if it's small amounts. Consistency is key.
So again, it comes back to habits, not just the dollar amount.
Absolutely. Many, many millionaires got there through steady habits, not giant salaries. It's about the saving rate, not just the earning rate.
That really does sound like slow and steady wins the race again, doesn't it? Even a huge income needs discipline.
It sure does.
Okay, let's tackle another deeply ingrained one. Myth 3. Hard work guarantees wealth. This is tied up with the whole meritocracy idea.
The American dream narrative, yeah.
Exactly. Work hard, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, success will follow. And look, there's obviously some truth there. Effort matters. Persistence is huge. But this myth takes it to an extreme, assuming it's only about individual effort on a level playing field.
And that's where it often falls apart under scrutiny. Hard work alone doesn't guarantee wealth.
If it did.
If it did, you'd see a lot more millionaires among people working 2, even 3 low-wage jobs just to get by.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
What does the research show?
Research on economic mobility consistently finds that wealth is strongly linked to, where you start, your family background, the opportunities you have access to.
So, birth circumstances matter a lot.
They do. Studies, for example, in the U.S. show that only about 1 in 10 people born into the poorest fifth of families actually make it to the wealthiest fifth, sometimes even less.
Wow, only 1 in 10.
Yeah, and there are real obstacles. Things like underfunded schools in certain areas, limited professional networks, lack of access to capital. Compare that to someone born into affluence who might have inherited advantages, connections.
Not a level playing field.
Not entirely, which raises that important question. Besides hard work, what else is really at play in building wealth?
And believing it's only hard work. That has downsides too, right? Toxic side effects.
Definitely. On a personal level, if you're working yourself to the bone and still struggling, you might just blame yourself, feel guilty, burnout.
Feel like a failure, even if you're doing everything you can.
Exactly. And societally, it can lead to less empathy for people in poverty. We might overlook systemic issues, unequal education, discrimination, lack of affordable health care, if we just think everyone who isn't rich isn't working hard enough.
And successful people might forget the luck or help they had along the way.
Right, that I did it all myself. Fallacy.
So what's a more balanced view?
Absolutely keep working hard. Effort is non-negotiable, but pair it with smart strategy. And, crucially, understand the bigger picture.
Like leveraging education, networks.
Yes, leverage what you have, seek out mentors, use support systems, but also maybe think about advocating for broader changes that create more opportunity for everyone.
Like better schools or affordable college.
Things like that, things that level the playing field a bit more. Building wealth, especially across generations, it often feels more like a team effort, Your own hard work plus the right environment and support.
Okay, that makes sense. Let's shift gears a bit. Let's talk about debt. Myth 4. Debt is always bad.
Oh yeah, this one is everywhere.
We hear it constantly. Neither a borrower nor a lender be. Gurus yelling, debt is dumb. Stories of people drowning in credit cards.
It comes from a good place, warning against overspending.
For sure. But it paints with a really broad brush, doesn't it? Is all debt really the enemy? I mean, surely there's an argument for avoiding it if possible, given how many struggle.
That's a really important point. And yes, high-interest debt, like credit card debt used for consumption, is incredibly damaging to wealth building. We absolutely need to be cautious there. But, and this is critical, not all debt is created equal. There's a difference. Some debt can actually be a tool, a powerful tool even, for building wealth if you use it smartly.
Okay, explain that. What kind of debt?
Well, think about buying a house. Very few people can do that with cash, right? A mortgage lets you acquire an asset, the house that can appreciate over time and helps you build equity. That's part of your net worth.
Okay, a mortgage. What else?
Student loans, within reason, can be an investment in your future earning power. Higher education often leads to higher lifetime income.
An investment in yourself.
Exactly. Or a business loan if it helps you start or grow a profitable company. These are often called good debt.
Because they help you acquire assets or increase income potential.
Right. Contrast that with bad debt. Typically high-interest loans used for things that lose value quickly. Think credit cards for vacations or gadgets, or those really predatory payday loans.
Got it. Good debt versus bad debt. And the danger of just saying all debt is bad.
It's kind of ironic, actually. Some people avoid credit completely. Then, when they need a mortgage or a car loan later, they have no credit history, which makes it harder to get approved for that good debt.
Huh. Didn't think of that.
Or others might focus intensely on paying off a low-interest mortgage, technically good debt, while neglecting their retirement savings.
Becoming house rich, but cash poor.
Exactly. They miss out on years of potential investment growth that likely would have outpaced their mortgage interest rate. Or maybe they skip higher education altogether because they fear loans, potentially limiting their career path.
So what's the smarter approach then?
See debt as a tool, a calculated risk. Use it purposefully with a clear plan for repayment. Make sure it's helping you acquire something of lasting value or growth potential.
Understand the terms, keep the interest low.
Definitely. And prioritize paying down that costly bad debt, the high-interest stuff, aggressively, while you manage the good debt strategically.
It's like that saying, debt is like fire.
Exactly. Dangerous if it gets out of control, but incredibly useful when managed properly.
Okay, good analogy. Now how about getting started with investing? Myth number 5. You need a fortune to start investing.
Ah, the Wall Street myth.
Yeah. You picture these tycoons, hedge fund managers. It feels like an exclusive club, you know? Like you need thousands, maybe tens of thousands just to get in the door. So people think, I'll invest someday when I'm rich.
And that keeps so many people on the sidelines. But the reality today, it's completely different. You absolutely do not need to be wealthy to start investing.
You don't.
Not at all. Getting started with small amounts is not only possible, it's smart. Think about online brokers, investment apps. Many have zero minimum deposit now.
Zero minimum.
Yep. And you can often buy fractional shares, meaning you don't need, say, $300 to buy one share of an expensive stock. You can buy $10 worth or $5 worth.
Fractional shares. Okay.
And here's the kicker: compound interest. What's really fascinating is that even investing something small, like $50 a month, consistently over decades.
It can grow into something significant.
Absolutely. It snowballs. The earlier you start, the more time compounding has to work its magic for you. Time is your biggest ally here.
So this myth, it really costs people opportunity.
Big time. If you wait until you feel rich enough, you might miss out on years, even decades of potential growth. That's time you can't get back.
And meanwhile, cash just sits there.
Exactly. Maybe in a savings account, earning next to nothing. It feels safe, but it's a huge missed opportunity, especially when you factor in inflation eroding its value.
So what's the truth? How easy is it really?
Investing is genuinely more accessible now than it's ever been. The real key is to just start. Start with what you have as soon as you reasonably can.
Even if it's just a small amount each month.
Yes, automate it. Set up automatic transfers into a low-cost index fund or an ETF. That gives you diversification right away.
Or use micro-investing apps. Or just contribute to your 401k at work.
All great ways to start. Getting the employer match in your 401k is basically free money. The most important thing is building the habit of investing regularly.
Every big portfolio started small.
You got it. You don't need a fortune to begin. You just need to begin. Let time and consistency do the heavy lifting.
Patience and consistency. There's that theme again.
It keeps coming up, doesn't it?
It does. Which leads us to another belief about safety. Myth 6. Keep cash in the bank for safety.
The comfort of cash.
Totally. It feels secure, right? The balance doesn't go down unless you spend it. It's visible, guaranteed. Maybe it comes from fear, like memories of the Great Depression or stock market crashes.
That fear of loss is powerful, absolutely. But the safety of holding too much cash, especially long-term, it's largely an illusion.
An illusion? How so? It feels pretty real.
Because of the silent thief, inflation.
And inflation again.
Right. Inflation means that over time, each dollar you have buys less stuff. Your purchasing power goes down.
So if my cash isn't earning much interest.
Exactly. If inflation is, say, 3%, and your savings account pays 2.5% interest, well, your money's buying power is actually shrinking by 2.5% every single year.
Ouch. It shrinks quietly.
Very quietly, but relentlessly. Meanwhile, historically, investments like a mix of stocks and bonds have outpaced inflation over the long term. So paradoxically, holding too much cash can be its own kind of risk.
The risk of not growing your money enough.
Precisely. The risk of not reaching your long-term goals.
And the pitfalls are real then, if you just stash cash.
Your nest egg might not grow enough to cover future costs like college, healthcare, and retirement, just maintaining your lifestyle as prices rise. You avoid investment risk, sure, but you take on purchasing power risk instead.
And that opportunity cost, what your money could have earned if invested.
Huge. Many people look back with regret years later when they see how much growth they missed out on.
Okay, so what's the balanced approach? Cash isn't totally bad, right?
Not at all. Cash is essential. You absolutely need an emergency fund.
For unexpected job loss, medical bills, car repairs.
Exactly. Usually 3 to 6 months worth of essential living expenses. And that money should be in a safe, easily accessible place like a high-yield savings account. Safe and liquid.
But beyond that emergency fund.
Beyond that cushion, your excess cash needs a job to do. It needs to be invested, put to work in assets that have the potential to grow and beat inflation over the long run.
So it's about balance. Liquidity for emergencies, growth for the future.
That's the sweet spot.
All right, let's move to a really popular asset class. Myth 7. Real estate is always a guaranteed winner.
The safe as houses belief.
You hear it all the time. You can't go wrong with property.
Yeah.
Everyone seems to have a story about how much their house value went up. Headlines scream about hot markets. It feels like a sure bet.
It's a very pervasive belief. And look, real estate can be a fantastic investment. It can build wealth, generate income, but it is absolutely not a guaranteed win. Not by a long shot.
Why not? It seems so tangible.
Well, first, housing markets are cyclical. They go up, but they can also go down or stay flat for years. Remember 2008?
Yeah, the financial crisis. Lots of people underwater on their mortgages.
Exactly. Owing more than the house was worth. Location is also hugely critical. A property boom in one city doesn't mean it's happening everywhere.
And there are costs, right? It's not just the purchase price.
Oh, absolutely. Ongoing costs. Maintenance, property taxes, insurance, unexpected repairs. These can really add up and eat into your returns.
I've even heard some people say your own home is more of a liability than an asset because of those costs, like Robert Kiyosaki.
That's his provocative view, yeah. Highlighting that it costs money continuously rather than generating income unless you leverage it somehow. It challenges the simple asset view.
So the danger is overconfidence.
Big time. Believing prices only go up might tempt you to stretch your budget thin, take on a massive mortgage,
Buy more house than you can really afford.
or get into speculative buying, hoping to flip it quickly. If the market turns, you could face foreclosure or be stuck with crippling debt.
And the diversification issue again.
Crucial point. If all your money, or most of it, is tied up in one or two properties, your entire financial health hinges on those local markets. That's risky.
So how should you approach real estate?
With caution and analysis. Just like any other investment, do your homework. Understand all the costs, ongoing ones, closing costs, potential repairs. Project realistic future values, not just best-case scenarios.
Especially if it's a rental property.
Definitely run the numbers carefully for rentals. Factor in potential vacancies, management fees, everything. Be mindful of the debt load.
And don't put all your eggs in the real estate basket.
Please don't. Diversification is key. Spread your investments across different asset classes. Remember, no investment is truly guaranteed. Make informed decisions. Don't just follow the hype.
Good advice. Okay, myth number 8. Only the ultra-wealthy need financial planning.
Right. The idea that it's some luxury service.
Yeah, you see ads for financial advisors targeting people with millions, so it feels like, well, I just pay my bills, save a little. I don't need a fancy plan. Is that right?
It's completely backwards, actually. Financial planning is just as important. I'd argue maybe even more important for the average person.
More important.
Why? Because when you have an ordinary income, your margin for error is smaller. A plan helps you make the absolute most of every single dollar. It helps you avoid costly mistakes you might not easily recover from.
So it's about efficiency and avoiding pitfalls.
Exactly. The basics: budgeting, having an emergency fund, managing debt smartly, investing for retirement, these apply to everyone, regardless of income.
It's not just complex tax strategies for millionaires.
Not at all. Think about it. There are countless stories of regular middle-class families who built real financial security over time. How? Almost always, because they made a plan early on and stuck to it. Foresight pays off.
And if you don't have a plan, what happens?
Well, you tend to just drift. You might not make real progress on long-term goals like retirement. Important things get overlooked. Maybe you don't have the right insurance, or you miss out on tax advantages available to you.
Retirement savings just get pushed off.
Leading to panic later in life. Or you might overspend because there's no budget guiding your choices. It's a recipe for missed opportunities and avoidable financial stress.
So the truth is, everyone benefits.
Everyone. It doesn't have to be complicated to start. Set clear goals. What do you want your money to do for you? Pay off debt. Save for a down payment. Build that emergency fund.
And they create a budget around those goals.
Right. Make saving automatic. Take advantage of things like your employer's 401k match. Keep learning about personal finance.
And maybe talk to a professional eventually.
As your situation gets more complex, absolutely consider it. But the core idea is universal. Planning isn't about being rich. It's about being intentional and making sure your money is working effectively for you. It's about preparing for your future.
Makes sense. All right, number 9. This one can get a bit heated sometimes. Rich people keep their wealth through inequality, often linked to the trickle-down myth.
Yes, that theory definitely sparks debate.
The idea being, cut taxes for the wealthy, they'll invest more, create jobs, and the benefits will sort of trickle down to everyone else. It suggests the rich are the main economic engine.
Right. Now, it's important here we're just looking at the economic arguments and evidence, not taking a political side.
Agreed. Just reporting on the findings.
So, from an economic perspective, the straightforward trickle-down theory has largely been, well, challenged by data. Major studies, including from organizations like the IMF.
The International Monetary Fund.
Yes. They've found that when wealth concentrates significantly at the top without broader gains, overall economic growth doesn't really accelerate. Sometimes it even slows down.
Interesting. Why would that be?
Well, economists like Joseph Stiglitz argue that extreme inequality can actually harm overall economic performance. It might dampen consumer demand, for instance, if most people aren't seeing income gains. Wealth tends to pool at the top unless there are active mechanisms like investments in education, infrastructure, fair wages to help circulate it more broadly through the economy.
So the data doesn't strongly support the automatic trickle-down effect.
The evidence for it being a primary driver of broad prosperity is weak based on many analyses, again, just relaying the findings.
And the danger of buying into that myth too strongly.
It could lead to supporting policies like maybe very large tax cuts skewed towards the top that aren't actually the most effective way to boost the economy for everyone. Meanwhile, maybe strategies with more evidence behind them, like investing in education, supporting small businesses, strengthening the social safety net, get less attention.
And it can create social friction.
It can definitely breed cynicism and tension if people feel the system is rigged and prosperity isn't being shared. It can deepen divisions.
So what's the counter-argument often presented by economists?
The counter-narrative, supported by a lot of research, is that a healthy, resilient economy is often built more from the middle out or bottom up, not just top down. Meaning empowering a broad base of the population through investments in human capital education, skills, healthcare, and fostering innovation and entrepreneurship across the board. When the middle class and those aspiring to it are doing well, they spend money, create demand, start businesses.
Creating a virtuous cycle, a rising tide lifting all boats.
That's the idea. It suggests shared prosperity is actually good for overall economic growth and stability. This myth really underscores the need to look critically at economic claims and consider what policies genuinely create broad-based opportunity and well-being.
Okay, that's a complex one, but important to consider the evidence. Finally, myth number 10. Money won't make you happy.
Ah, the classic phrase.
We hear it all the time. Money can't buy happiness.
Yeah.
It's usually well-intentioned, right?
Right.
A reminder to value relationships, health, experiences over just stuff.
Absolutely. And there's wisdom in that. Material possessions alone don't guarantee fulfillment.
We hear stories of unhappy rich people or deeply content people living very simply. So it seems like chasing money is futile for happiness, maybe even bad for it.
Well, like many of these myths, the reality is more nuanced. While money isn't the only ingredient for happiness, the link between money and well-being is actually pretty well established by research.
It is. How so?
Numerous studies, consistently, find that, yes, increases in income do correlate with increases in self-reported happiness and life satisfaction, especially up to a certain point.
What point is that?
Generally, up to the level where basic needs are comfortably met and you have a sense of financial security, not worrying constantly about bills, having a roof over your head, affording health care. That baseline security removes major sources of stress and unhappiness.
Okay, so money relieves unhappiness or stress.
That's a huge part of it. Financial stress is incredibly detrimental to mental health. Money also provides freedom and choice, living in a safer place, getting good education for your kids, taking time off work if you need to without panicking. Lack of money is strongly linked to anxiety, depression, poor health outcomes.
And what about beyond basic needs? Is more money still help?
What's interesting is that recent research suggests happiness can continue to rise with income even beyond that basic security level, although perhaps the curve flattens a bit.
Why might that be?
Maybe because more money allows for more experiences, more opportunities to help others, more control over one's time, less need to do draining work purely for survival. Financial comfort provides a really important foundation.
So, believing the myth too simply, money doesn't buy happiness, that could have downsides.
It could. It might lead someone to downplay the importance of their own financial health, maybe neglect saving or improving their job situation, which ironically could increase their stress and decrease their happiness.
Or minimize the real struggles of people who are stressed about money.
Right, or even discourage healthy ambition. Wanting financial independence often isn't about greed. It's about providing for family, having a secure retirement, being able to be generous. Those things are deeply connected to well-being and purpose.
So the balanced view.
Money alone won't guarantee happiness. You need health, relationships, purpose too. But financial well-being is a powerful enabler of a happier, less stressful life.
Think of it as a tool again.
Exactly. A tool for security, which reduces anxiety. A tool for freedom, which gives you control. A tool for opportunity, including generosity, which often brings great fulfillment. Happiness is a mix, but having a degree of financial stability really helps hold it all together.
Wow. Okay, so we've busted quite a few myths today.
Yeah.
Looking back across all 10, a really clear picture emerges, doesn't it?
It really does.
Real financial success isn't about those flashy shortcuts or just hoping for the best. It seems to come down to steady, informed effort, patience, understanding how things actually work.
Right. The enduring truths seem pretty consistent. Save regularly, invest intelligently for the long term, use tools like debt strategically, and definitely have a plan. That proactive planning piece is crucial for everyone.
And it's also important to remember, like you said, that our personal finances aren't just happening in a bubble.
Not at all. They're connected to bigger economic systems, realities like social mobility, forces like inflation that work silently in the background. Understanding that context helps you make smarter, more strategic decisions.
So for everyone listening, our call to action is really about being proactive and maybe a bit critical.
Yes, healthy skepticism is good.
When you see that next viral money tip or that headline promising the moon, just pause. Ask yourself, is this based on solid evidence? Does it make logical sense? Or is it maybe playing on hope or fear?
Don't be afraid to dig deeper. Look at reputable sources. Maybe talk to a qualified, unbiased professional if you need guidance.
Build your financial life on strategies that are proven. Diversification, living within your means, long-term investing, the fundamentals.
Because the road to real wealth, it isn't paved with secret tricks or just luck of birth, for most people anyway. It's about making informed choices. Day after day, it's about building good habits and understanding that bigger picture we talked about.
Armed with that mindset.
Armed with that mindset, you really can move forward with confidence. You can start turning these financial truths into actual, tangible gains for your own future happiness and well-being.